Did you see that thing? I wonder if the outside camera got it.
From terrifying screams heard in the dead of night to eerie shadows lurking in the figures, sometimes a trip intended to get closer to nature and enjoy some quiet time alone can turn into a living nightmare. Let's dive into the most disturbing camping, hiking encounters. Our first video comes from a YouTuber named Brendan who goes solo camping in his van. The video starts off with him explaining this camping experience was by far the worst he's ever had.
I've done hundreds of camps, and although this is by far the worst camping experience I've ever had,
and how difficult it was for him to even edit the video.
Probably the hardest and not very nicest video I've ever had to edit.
The actual footage from the day starts with Brendan telling his viewers he was going to camp in a small town in England called Jaywick, which is labeled as one of the most deprived towns in the UK.
To the coast. The eventual goal of today's video is to go and visit, or possibly drive through, Clacton-on-Sea and finish our adventure at a little town in England called Jaywick, coined as one of the most deprived towns in the UK.
He makes his way into the town and explores the streets to find a spot to park his van. Initially, the spot he finds seems a bit sketchy to him, so he decides to go someplace else.
Well, this is apparently where I'm supposed to be staying tonight, and I don't really feel safe staying here.
After driving around a bit, he finally finds a spot and starts settling in.
We're in this parking spot, but I feel a lot safer here than I would have done at St. Christopher's Way. That looked like a bit of a dodgy street, that.
According to the YouTuber, there were a few red flags in that location as well.
That's not a good sign. Whenever you see someone walking down the road with a Halford Special going past as well, playing music out of a portable speaker alone, that's a big red flag.
As the sun begins setting, he realizes that the cars that were parked around him earlier aren't there anymore, and that he is alone in the parking lot.
When I started cooking dinner, there was a few cars parked around me. There was a van over there, and now I am the only one in this car park.
Brendan tells his viewers that he feels something isn't right and he's decided to switch campsites, while the text on the screen ominously reads, "Definitely should have stayed put."
I'm going to follow my gut instinct. I'm not parking here tonight. Just got a funny feeling about it. And I think when you have that feeling, best thing you can do is move on. Right, okay.
He drives around and finds a place to stay for the night near a farm. Brendan gets ready for the night and films what he thinks is the outro of his video.
Absolutely dead quiet. But thank you ever so much for joining me. I will bring you back in the morning and I'll show you a proper look at this place. Couldn't really see much when it's pitch black, but yeah. I appreciate you joining me for this adventure. I hope you've enjoyed the video so far, and stick around next week as we explore a couple more places.
However, the next clip shows him in the dark at 2:30 a.m. and we can hear someone walking around the van in the background.
I think someone's outside the van.
As he is assessing the situation, whoever is outside tries to open the van door, and moments later, a loud bang is heard.
Someone just tried the door. Hey!
In the next clip, the YouTuber states that whoever attacked his van is now gone, and that there is smashed glass all inside the van.
Whoever the that was has now gone. I'm gonna get out of here. Oh my god.
He then leaves the site immediately. The next morning, he explained that someone smashed the passenger side window of the can in an attempt to steal the vehicle.
But they probably saw inside the front cab, saw the curtain covering this huge box, and I can only assume they thought it was a toolbox or something, and decided to put the window in. But as soon as I shouted, they ran off up the road, and as soon as I got back in the van and started driving back up the track, I could see a car in the distance that quickly sped off.
He then ended the video. Brendan's experience shows us that sometimes trying to find peace and quiet can cost you. This next video is from Larry on the YouTube channel Work less, enjoy life more. He goes camping in a forest in Arizona that is labeled as a burned area.
And yeah, this forest, I guess, was like a burned area of the forest at one point.
He parks his van in a nice spot and begins setting up by collecting some sticks and starting the fire. He cooks up a steak, and while he's enjoying his food inside the van, he hears a loud sound outside. He looks out for a good 20 seconds to inspect the situation. And then gets up, using his steak knife as a weapon. He goes to check the area. While there is no footage of what Larry did, he comes back and says that he assumes it was just a stick that had fallen.
Probably just a stick, though. Like a branch falling out of a tree or something.
The YouTuber is visibly shaken and says that situations like this can make one anxious.
There's been times where I'm out here, or not out here, but in the woods, and you know, you just hear something you can't explain, and you know, I don't know, it just gets your anxiety all worked up.
A little while later, he goes outside to sit by the fire and enjoy a drink. Larry says that he just wants to spot a coyote or any animal so that he has peace of mind.
Part of me just wants it to be a cow or a coyote or something. Like, I just want to see something that I could know that it was it, just so I can just drop it. Like, I'm trying.
Shortly after, the dogs start making noise, and Larry laughs, saying they're fighting. However, his face quickly falls when one of the dogs starts barking. At the same time, there is some sound in the background like wood being cut.
The dogs are fighting.
This startles Larry, who gets up to check what or who is out there. While the dog continues barking, the YouTuber yells out into the forest and claps twice in an attempt to scare whatever is out there.
Hey!
This is where the clip ends, and we see Larry in the morning, seemingly normal, enjoying his breakfast. Well, it is safe to assume that whoever was out there making the noise got scared and ran off. This video comes from Dr. Hannah Straight, who starts off the video by saying she saw something the night before.
But I honestly can't even comprehend what I saw last night.
She states that when she was sleeping the previous night, she heard someone going through her things. In an attempt to not alert whoever it was, Hannah states that she stayed still and didn't make a sound.
I was sleeping, dead asleep last night, above my cab. All of a sudden, I heard something rummaging through my cab. I was trying to be super quiet, super still. I didn't want to move because I didn't know what was in the back of my truck.
Moreover, she claims that when she took a look outside, she saw a huge thing standing near her cabin. She also stated that there was no civilization near the place she was staying, so that thing couldn't possibly be a human being.
And I rolled over and peeked through the window, and I swear there was like this huge thing standing there going through my stuff. I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. There's no way it's a person. I'm miles from civilization.
As per Hannah, the creature had heard her moving inside the camper and ran off.
He must have heard me, or whatever it was heard me, because it dropped everything and scampered off into the woods behind me. Like, ran. It was on two legs.
After which she examined the area and found a bin of her things on the floor, with food scattered all over and her car door open.
I got out in the middle of the night. I don't usually do that because it is creepy as heck when you're out here in the middle of nowhere in the dark. Door was open and this bin was on the ground. The lid was off. There's food all over the ground. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this really happening?
This leads to Hannah staying another night at the location in an attempt to catch the creature on camera.
Well, I didn't get much sleep last night for obvious reasons because I had an unidentified creature crawling around in the cab of my truck. And tonight, I want to stay up all night so I can potentially catch it on camera, so...
As the night goes on, we see Hannah talking to her viewers about the creature, and she states that she has her camper closed off, just in case there is some type of danger, and she has to quickly leave the scene.
Camping. While I'm down here, I might as well mention, you might wonder why the camper is down. Well, I want to make sure I can get out of here really quickly if I need to.
Further into the video, Hannah is waiting to spot the creature.
Still waiting around. Haven't seen or heard anything. It's getting kind of late.
And right towards the end, we see footage of an eerie entity on 2 legs running through the woods. After witnessing this, Hannah tells the camera that she has to go and the video ends.
It is terrifying and I need to get out of here right now. I gotta go. This is insane. I gotta shut this off.
Up next, we have a video from a YouTube channel called The Northwest Wind, which shows Sam, a man from Cleveland, on his stealth camping adventures. We see Sam telling his viewers that he's planning on camping in a nearby park.
Tonight, we're camping at a local park, dog park, walking trails, hiking trails. Gonna go off the trail into the woods.
Initially, everything seems normal. He goes into the forest and sets up his tent. He settles in and starts making some food.
So it says about 14 ounces. So we're gonna do about 10, 12 ounces. I always go lower than what it recommends.
After he's done eating, he decides to get ready for bed and falls asleep. The next clip shows Sam in his tent, leaning against his light, so there is minimal brightness, and nobody can see him from outside. He then tells his viewers that someone is walking around really close to his tent.
There's somebody, hang on. I don't know if they can see it or not through the tent. I don't think so. I'm leaning right up against the light, but somebody's walking around out there very close to the tent.
A few moments later, Sam again tells the camera that there is someone outside, but he is unsure whether they're approaching his tent or just walking by.
Somebody's out there. I don't know if they're coming this way or just walking around out there. I can't tell. Somebody's definitely walking around out there, though. Hang on.
We then hear footsteps nearby. By that point, Sam says that he's spooked and isn't sure how many people there are, but he assumes there's 2 people as he can hear them whispering.
I don't like this at all. I'm spooked.
Hello? Hello?
They're really close. They're like 10 feet away. I think there's 2 people. I can't tell. I can barely hear them talking. They're whispering.
He even yells out hello a couple times, but there is no response from the other side.
Hello? Alright, I don't like this. Hello? Hello?
When Sam realizes that the 2 people outside are really close to his tent and start touching it, he starts continuously yelling out, hello, but again, no response. So he decides to get out of the tent.
They're touching my tent. Stop.
They're right outside the tent.
Hello? I'm in here. Hello? 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 And I'm getting...
He sees them walking away and asks what they want. When they don't respond, he tells them he has a knife and proceeds to pull it out.
Okay, they're walking away now. What do you want? What do you want? I have a knife. Where's my knife? They're with me. With me here. Holy crap, get away, what do you want?
Sam then leaves the tent and yells out, "I see you," and "What do you want?" repeatedly, but they say nothing.
Say something, I see you. They collapsed my tent on me. I don't know which way they went. I think they went this way. I see you. Get away!
He says that he's leaving, but isn't sure which direction to go.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm scared to go in any direction. I don't know where to go. I'm scared to go in any direction.
Things are even worse because it's so dark, and Sam doesn't know exactly which direction the two strangers are in, so he can't be too sure he won't run into them while trying to exit the area. He somehow manages to find a route and starts leaving when he sees them by his campsite, trying to steal the stuff he had left behind.
I don't know where I'm going. They're at my campsite. I see them. I see you reflecting off my tent. Leave my shit alone! All right, I'm getting out of here. You can have it.
Sam then began running away from them because he thought they were following him.
It's getting bigger. All right, let's get the out of here. I don't know if they're like after me or something or what the happening. We're getting the here. It's getting bigger. They're coming this way. Holy.
Eventually, he managed to get back to his car and go back home.
All right, we just got home.
He returned to the site the next morning and saw that someone had messed with his things.
Somebody was messing with my tent, 100%.
The video ends with Sam packing up his stuff and heading back. This video comes from a YouTube channel called Love Sundays, which follows a man on his outdoor camping adventures. One such adventure occurs in this video as well, where he is camping near a beach.
Before we get to that, let's find somewhere to stay the night. This looks like as good a place as any.
As all videos in this list go, this one also starts off pretty normal with the YouTuber settling in and then cooking himself some food. However, things take an unexpected turn at night when he decides to call it a night and go to sleep.
And then just get into bed, get cozy, turn the lights off, and go to sleep. Good night.
The next clip is from around 2 a.m. when he picks up the camera and tells his viewers that he's heard something outside. As he is saying this, we can also hear someone knocking on the window. Someone then tries to pull the car handle and open the door. After realizing it's locked, they knock again. However, the YouTuber doesn't respond. He just keeps real quiet and looks visibly spooked. In the next clip, he says that whoever it was has now gone. And he goes out to check, but no one is there.
Okay, I think they've gone. They literally tried to get in the van. It wasn't just a knocking, they were trying the handle. Let me check outside.
He says that maybe they were trying to move him from his spot or trying to steal his van.
They were either trying to move me on or trying to break into the van. Either way, not pleasant.
Despite this spooky encounter, he didn't move from his spot.
I'm not moving. I'm probably not going to sleep now though.
This last video comes from a YouTuber named Phil who goes on a hike in the woods of Virginia and decides to set up camp there.
Hi, Phil here from Hike Slam. Today I'm gonna hike into the woods a little bit here in Virginia and do an overnight. It's the day before Thanksgiving.
Phil tells his viewers about the pleasant weather, and as the video goes on, he shows some trash that he found along the trail that seemed unusual to him as it had some writing on it.
So the hike's been awesome so far. I mean, I've only been out for about half hour. River behind me, really pretty day. As I was walking up, I saw some trash in the trail and I came across this. So some Bud Light cans, plastic bat, some writing on some of this garbage.
As he is walking towards his campsite, he spots more trash, some rocks, and notes with the same eerie writing on it and a dead duck.
The weirdness continues. What the hell? And there's a...
Not too far from this, he spots a campsite where he hears fire crackling, so he assumes that whoever is camping there is responsible for these weird notes.
There's a fire down there.
On his way, he encounters two women who question him about the person behind the creepy notes. He told them that he had seen their campsite.
Okay, well that was really weird. So as I was hiking toward the shelter, still considering what I was going to do for the night, these two women were hiking in the opposite direction. They had a little dog with them. They asked if I had seen the guy who was leaving the notes. I said he has a campsite down by the river because I could hear the fire going. I could see where his tarp was set up. He was actually just sitting on a rock down there.
The women were shocked that despite witnessing all this, Phil was still staying in the woods. They then asked him to accompany them to their car as they were too scared to go alone. When Phil reached the car park, he realized it was not a good idea to go back and decided it would be better if he camped on the other side.
They were shocked I was still considering camping out there, but I decided that I didn't really feel like it, and plus they said that they were kind of freaked out and asked if I would go with them and walk past his campsite so they could get back to their car. So I did, and then when I got back to my truck, I went over to the other side of the road, drove up like a Forest Service road, and I'm actually on the Appalachian Trail, just going the opposite direction.
On the other side, he spots a shelter that seems pretty normal, and he sets up camp there.
All right. My sleeping pad is inflated and holding air. Got my sleeping bag in here.
Later into the night, he decides to check the logbook of that shelter. He finds writing there that is identical to the one from the creepy notes.
This happened recently. Holy crap. Wait a second. Well, I'm adjust the camera here. This writing looks almost exactly like the writing that was on that garbage a couple of miles from here.
The entries have weird things written in them, like being incarcerated in jail and Bible quotes.
In 2018, while I was incarcerated at the Okaloosa County Jail. What the heck?
Phil gets quite creeped out by this and decides he's done for the day, and tells his viewers that he's on edge, and keeps thinking someone is heading toward him. We then see Phil packing up and leaving because he spotted a guy nearby.
I'm just gonna get out of here and go home.
That's all we have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more such content.